the two things I wanted to talk about was managing conflict or avoidance of conflict, and talking about feelings and needs. So just briefly about feelings and needs, I've talked about Marshall Rosenberg's work. There's also in the resource something which is a link to Nancy Klein's 10 thinking elements. And when I listen to it, it has so much there about listening. You and I discussed we might do a separate interview on listening. It's so huge. Yes. So that might come. But in the meantime, there is this link to 10 thinking elements. And that's very helpful for listening, because listening, people think they listen, they hear the words. Well, that's not listening. It's so much more. Then second,
it's one of the hardest things in the world.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And I hope I'm not going too quickly. I can get quite passionate about all of this, and there's so much I really want to convey here. Anyway, moving on to conflict or avoidance of conflict, which is just as bad, because conflict, you put two people in a room, there's difference. There's conflict. Of course there is. So an excellent exercise is individually for each person to record what makes for good communication and what makes for bad communication, thinking particularly of your own experiences. Once you've done this, then you can discuss it. Now, going back to don't make anything worse, if this escalates conflict, or you start to feel frightened or really angry, out of control in any way, stop it.
Yeah.
You know that rule, that priority. Get back to feeling emotionally regulated, whatever it takes, okay? Because you can't have any effective communication unless you're in that place. So it's essential, therefore, that you don't talk off the back of a row, because you're going to feel, there's going to be lots of emotions going on in your body. You need to find the right time and the place, and you don't want to be tired, and you don't need distractions. You want the children comfortably settled in front of a movie or in bed. And you don't want your television on, ideally, or your telephone. Those are basics. If there's a lot of anger or withdrawal or general defensiveness, it's not possible to have these good conversations. Just reiterating that point. So when I'm working with clients and giving them this exercise, I'll start them off. So I'll say, don't interrupt one another. Try and listen without thinking of yourself. Listen and be curious. That curious is so important, because it's so easy to listen to another person saying, I feel really bad at this time, and it'll trigger the listener thinking, oh, I did that. Oh, I don't mean to do that. No, forget yourself.
Yeah.
Just be curious. Why? What caused it? How often does this happen? Tell me a bit more what it feels like. Avoid trigger words. To give you an example, you are just like your father or your mother. Oh my goodness, that is usually not a good start. You always do that. You never listen to me. These absolute words are real. Where do you go with them? You've got nowhere to go with them, so the conversation ends. So please identify and stop using them. Never threaten to end the relationship. I can't tell you the damage that does. When we talk about the need for consistent presence of a trusted other, you tell them that you've had enough and you're off. When this is over, I'm leaving. Can't take any more. Well, the trust has gone out of the window, and it's going to take a long time to build it back. So really think carefully about, I've had enough, can't take any more. What you're really signaling is this relationship is not what I want. Profoundly frightening. So walking off, this is okay as long as you come back. If to walk off and take time out is a way of getting back into that nice, emotionally regulated place, do it. But keep your partner informed. I'll come back as soon, agree this in your sort of guidelines for good communication. Say, I'll be coming back as soon as I can. And if I need to walk outside, obviously we can't walk too far, I'll text you to let you know I'm on my way back or when I'm ready, sort of thing. Stay in contact if you can. So rule of thumb, don't make anything worse. Just stop and resume when you can take the time to feel less reactive. And yes, then I say to them, just think about this communication for yourself, because it's important that this is about you, not my list of rules.
Thank you. That's very useful. I mean, I can identify all the things that I shouldn't be doing in that.
Oh, yes.
But really nice to be able to listen to with your partner and work on these things. Because
that does bring me to an important point, Rebecca. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that is such an important point. that what you've been doing, you've probably been doing for decades. So it is really important you don't expect overnight transformation here. I've just said to one of my clients, she says, well, so I've got to change this. And I said, just make it a lifelong journey. You now know which direction, you've got the map, use it. Do not expect yourself to change overnight or even in the next month. Aim for sort of 5%. Aim for 5% of improvement. If you do something badly 10 times, try and just do it right once. And critically, don't beat yourself over the head if you get it wrong.
Yeah.
Because you've been doing this forever. It's a bad habit.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time to undo.
And,
so that's
and celebrate those times when you don't do it,
Yes.
Then those are the moments you're like, oh gosh, even if it was one time in the whole week.
Yes.
Really important.
Really celebrate. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Because you'll want to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.